Okay, so this video is talking about algebra when we are factorising an expression. So we've got the word here, factorising is where we will be looking for common factors within the expression, and this is in fact the sort of the reverse of multiplying out brackets. So if I started off with an expression 4a plus 6b, and I want to factorise this expression, I'm looking for common factors that I can sort of take out of that expression and end up with something that's going to be something outside of a bracket with something inside a bracket. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brackets in, because I want to end up with something here multiplied by something in here that is equal to all of this. So I've put my brackets in, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the sign is going to stay the same. So I'm going to make it's going to be a plus sign in the middle because I've got a plus sign here. And the next thing I'm doing, I'm looking at the terms that I've got here to see what is the common factors that I've got here. Now I've got 4a and I've got 6b. See, a and b are different, but 4 and 6, they're both even numbers. So as they're both even numbers, I know that 2 is a factor of 4a and 2 is also a factor of 6b. So that 2 I can write here outside of the bracket because I know that 2 does go into both terms here. Now I've got to see how many times 2 goes into this first term. So 4a divided by 2 would be 2a because I've taken the 2 out, so I'm seeing how many times that's left, and I've got to do the same here with the 6b. So if I was to take the 2 out of the bracket out here, how many times what have I got left, because I've taken 2 lots out? So 6b divided by 2 leaves me with 3b. So when I factorise this expression, 4a plus 6b is exactly the same as the 2 outside of the bracket, and then inside the bracket 2a plus 3b. And I can check this because factorisation is because it's the inverse to multiplying out the brackets. I can check. So I'm thinking, well, that 2 multiplied by 2a does give me the 4a, and that 2 multiplied by the 3b does give me that 6b. So I'm happy that I have factorised that expression. And in this case, that 2, not only was it a common factor, it was in fact the highest common factor of those terms. So there's no further factorisation that can be done on this expression. Now I've got another example. I've got 4a plus 6ab. I want to factorise this. So just as before, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my brackets and I'm going to put in the sign. And then I'm looking for common factors. Now, I know that I've got 4a and I've got 6ab. 4 and 6 are both even numbers, so I know that 2 will be a factor. I've also got a here and an a here, so a is also a factor. So I can take out as a common factor, I can say, well, 2a is a common factor because 2a is a factor of 4a and 2a is also a factor of 6ab. So let's take my 2a outside of the bracket and then see what is left for each part inside the bracket. So 4a divided by 2a just leaves me with a 2, and then 6ab divided by 2a leaves me with 3b. So I have factorised this expression, and I'm going to just double check that everything is correct. When I do 2a multiplied by 2, that does give me the 4a, and 2a multiplied by 3b does give me 6ab. So that is my expression factorised fully. I'm just going to use this same example again because sometimes when we're factorising we may not spot the highest common factor immediately. We may take out a smaller factor first, and so this is what happens if we were to do that. So I'm starting off again with 4a plus 6ab. I should end up with this, of course, but if I was to do it in sort of different steps, I could have thought, I can see I've got an a and I've got an a here, so I could have decided to just take out the a first of all. So I put in my brackets and the plus sign, and I've taken the a outside of the brackets, and then I've said here, well, 4a divided by a, that leaves me with a 4, and then I've got 6ab, taken the a out, so I've got to divide by a, so that's going to leave me with 6b. So I've realised now that I've got an expression with the a outside, but I've got 4 plus 6b inside the brackets, and this can still be factorised further because 4 and 6 are even numbers. I can divide both of these terms by 2, so that would then become, so I'm going to put my brackets in and the plus sign, and I'm going to take the 2 because these are both even numbers. I know here these are both even numbers, so I know that they are both divisible by 2, so I can take the 2 outside of the bracket. So as well as having an a, I've now got the 2 as well, so I've got 2a outside of the bracket, and then for this step the 4 divided by the 2 gives me the 2, and then the 6b divided by 2, because that's what I've just taken out, leaves me with the 3b. So you can see I've ended up with exactly the same factorised expression as I had before. It's just that I did it in slightly longer steps because I only took out one factor and then I took out another factor. So the most efficient way is to take out the highest common factor first. So the golden rules that we have to remember when we are factorising an expression. So first of all, beneath the expression you've been given, just write in the empty brackets. Then write in the correct sign. So whatever sign there is between the terms, make sure that that sign is written. And if you keep it all lined up so that it's directly beneath everything, it will be very clear for you to see. Then, looking at all of the terms in your expression, look for the highest common factor. And that is the number that you're going to write outside the brackets. So that's written at the front outside the brackets. And looking at the first term in your expression, you want to divide that term by the highest common factor. So the number that you took outside of the bracket, your highest common factor, that's what you're dividing the first term by. And your answer to that is the then becomes your first term inside the bracket. Then repeat that for all of the other terms in the expression. And finally, if you wanted to check your answer, you would do that by multiplying out the bracket, and that could of course get you straight back to the original expression.